Hello everybody and welcome back. And today's video, I am going to show you guys a little peek into my personal process when I am manifesting anything that's important or big to me. And what that entails is I'm going to show you what my mental diet looks like, a little peek into that. I'm going to show you my thought process of why I do things. I'm pretty much going to show you what I do from when I wake up to when I go to sleep. And obviously it's not going to be like a full in the day of or like a guide or anything, because to be honest, for that, I need like 2-3 hours to throw everything out on video, but it's going to give you guys enough of a peek where you can extract a lot of things and you can apply it directly and start seeing results. And if you've been stuck or you're worried or anxious, I promise you this video is for you. Okay. So without further ado, let's just dive right into it. Oh, and sorry, I forgot to mention before I forget, the reason I'm making this video is actually because I've been inspired to actually manifest something pretty big. It's something a little bit scary to you, but not really. It's just something that makes me excited when I think about finally having it. And it's something that's a little bit scary, and it's something that I wasn't kind of really focusing on. But lately, all of a sudden, this thing just hit me, and I can't explain it. I do my own process where I evaluate things for a few days. I see if the hunger is there day after day. I analyze things, and then I conclude, is this a genuine desire or is this something else? And I concluded this was a genuine desire. So that's what inspired this video, because I figured, hey, now that I'm just getting ready to ramp up my process and really kind of hone things down, and I've been enjoying the last 2 days of kind of priming myself. It's probably the last day of like me preparing, and then probably tomorrow and probably even later today, it's already done. Like, it's already started, where I'm gonna be pretty much just making the right choices all the time, or as much as I can. And that's what we're gonna get into. Okay. So without further ado, as you already know, I'm Michael from embodythestate.com. And for those of you that have any email or WhatsApp packages and you want to get them done before the end of the year, I know that might appeal to some of you. Feel free to email me any updates you have, and you don't have to say anything else. Just give me an update, what your concerns are, or any questions you have meanwhile, and I'll be getting through all of them through the next 3 days anyways. So for the ones I've already been working with and talking to and finishing up packages with, this doesn't apply to you, so don't worry. But anyways, that being said, I'm going to ask you guys a question at the end of this video. So pretty much if you guys want to play a role in deciding the future of this channel, you're going to want to watch that question that's at the end of this video and give me your feedback afterwards. And don't worry, it's nothing scary. I'm not going anywhere. It's actually, you're going to get more time of me. I just want to know what way you want more of my time. So that being said, let's just dive right into things, right? So as you already know, I want to manifest a goal, right? And I understand that it's my job to be aware of when I am craving it, right? We all are supposed to be aware of when we're craving it, period. And this is the first step to all success. Once I recognize the desire, it's literally my job to plant the seed and to fulfill myself. It's no one else's job. And that's the beautiful thing. And I fulfill myself as the craving. And like, I know that the craving to fulfill myself is just a reminder from higher self of that there's versions of me that is already experiencing that. And every time I have a craving, I understand what that is. The same way that if I'm anxious or feeling negative about a desire, right? In other words, I have a limiting belief. I understand that I only feel that result because I'm not supposed to be aligned with that thing. If you think about it, it's kind of like a built-in cheat code, right? It's like, I understand that hunger equals having. That's literally how I process it. So whenever, in other words, a hunger hits me, I desire my main goal. I understand my first job is to recognize that's my internal reminder. And by the way, you might have just seen my dog behind me. Don't mind him. He's a big baby. But anyways, like, that's an internal reminder. You understand? Like, I wish I could get it through your guys' head and where it's like tattooed there. Desire equals having. Like, say it with me. Desire equals having. Desire equals having. So what does having mean? Having equals creation is finished. So desire equals having, and having equals the creation is finished. In other words, desire equals creation is finished. So when I understand that desire hits me, that's my cue to remember, oh, wait a minute, I already have it. Oh, thank you. So right away, I'm already thankful and I'm happy, and I'm just, even just right now when I said that and I looked away for like a split second, which you saw on the camera, for that 1 second that I just looked here and before I looked back, I felt fulfillment. For that split second I looked up there, my brain literally went away from my camera because I wasn't thinking of my camera, and instead I was thinking of the goal, right? And I'm not going to tell you guys what goal it is because I want to keep it a little bit of a secret for now, but it's something special to me and important. And that goal, when I thought of it, it just made me smile. And that's why I said thank you. I felt relief because I remembered that creation is finished. And I still have like little tingles in my chest because of how like happy I am. So that's how I want you guys to view cravings moving forward in this video, okay? And in your life. So if you saw my last video, obviously, then you understood that, looking through the eyes of the person who has the life you want, then you understand that like that is the awareness that you need. That's like one method that you could apply where you kind of temporarily look through the eyes of that person. So when I looked away and I literally thought of my desire, and I was speaking of how hunger equals having, and therefore I'm remembering that I have it, which then reminded me I have my desire. Like all that is a chain link. It was a chain of events that started here, 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 and then it ended here. And that's the beautiful part about knowledge, right? So in my last video, as an example, I spoke about walking my dog, right? Or if you're walking a dog, and I talk about this with clients recently too. Like I hold my dog's leash with my left hand, and I understand that, let's say I'm walking in a straight sidewalk, right? And then my desire hits me as I'm walking my dog. I understand in that moment, remember, hunger or craving or desire equals what? Equals having, right? Equals creation is finished. So as soon as I get that hunger, it's already in my head. Creation is finished. That's a reminder. All I have to do is remember now. In other words, I view it as that's my higher self reminding me, hey, now's a good time to celebrate that you have it because you want it to happen. You want to change your belief quicker. So now do it. Let's go. Now's the time. So that's how I look at it. And when that happens, I'm walking my dog. So I'm holding the leash on my left hand and he's doing his thing, sniffing ahead of me, and I let him take his time. And as I'm walking, I'm taking a step, and then boom, it hits me. And right there in that moment, I make a decision, and I understand in the back of my head, there's realities where just how right now I'm walking my dog, I'm in those realities walking my dog, but as the person who has the thing I want, right? So this could be any goal you have, whether it's seeing someone healed or yourself, whether it's, business or finances going well for you, whether it's love, it doesn't matter, whatever it is. Like there's a version of you, and this is something you can do all day, by the way, but there's a version of you that you can return to that is doing exactly what you're doing, taking the exact same step but they're aware of having their goal. And you can tune into that at any point. And I'm just prefacing all this so you understand my process when I start explaining it. So it's like when I'm walking and I'm aware I want something and I want my goal, I'm aware. Same thing if I'm opening my fridge. I understand there's a version of me. Oh, just now it hits me as I grab my fridge handle that I want my desire. So right then and there, I understand I can feel what it would feel like opening that fridge as the version of me that has it. Does that make sense? And that's exactly what I'm referring to. And it's turning into that awareness. You tune into it, right? And as Neville says, it's the fusing of the state. And we already know, if you watch my content, that states just means beliefs, a set of beliefs. So a state isn't a magical thing. It's just a set of beliefs. So if you know that Neville has said throughout all his work in literature, along with other greats that teach as well, they all say that what you return to is, in other words, fuses you with that state, with those beliefs. And once that happens, that's when it becomes natural and reflects. So if I know that returning to the awareness of having the thing I want because I'm aware of being the person that has it, then why on earth would I sit there and do anything else other than return to the awareness of what I want if I want the result sooner than later? And that's exactly what I want you guys to view it as, okay? So like I said, if I'm walking the dog or I'm opening my fridge door or I'm cooking food, and let's say for those manifesting an SP, if you're cooking food, obviously there's going to be realities where you're actually making enough for two. There's realities where you get to serve her or him a plate, right? And I'm a guy that loves, cooking for my partner, right? If I'm dating someone and where like she's at my place or whatever, or I'm at theirs and I'm cooking, like I want to be the one to cook most of the time. I want to be the one to serve them food and to see them happy and to let them feel taken care of. And that's the stuff that I think about, right? So let's say hypothetically I'm manifesting an SP. So let's say it's an SP and it's someone that you have experience with or brand new, it doesn't matter, but I'll just use experience with, because that's most of people, manifesting exes or people from the past. But let's say it's an ex, and I know for a fact, she gets really happy when I do stuff for her. So obviously I can hear her laughter, her reaction, and how sweet she will be when that happens. So as I'm cooking, once again, the desire hits me. I'm chopping my vegetables, and it's like, oh man, I wish she was here. I wish I could just talk to her right now. This and that and blah, 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 whatever else happens in your guys' head. And as I'm chopping the vegetables, sorry, I'm looking down pretending I'm chopping vegetables. It's like it hits me. It's like, wait a minute, there's versions of me that's like chopping vegetables right now, but as the one that has her. So how would I feel if that was true? And I contemplate that question, but I don't ask it to myself, because at this stage, I don't have to ask myself that. But you can ask yourself that. But I just jump to the conclusion. So I just remember it's like, oh, creation is finished. We're doing this already. Like, there's realities, we're already together. So how would it feel if I was chopping vegetables as the one that finally has her back? And boom, right then and there it hits me, right? That relief or gratitude, whatever it is. And that right there, I planted the seed. And once again, that's me planting the seed. So obviously now we've talked about, the planting the seed. That's the easy part, right? It's just enjoying it, enjoying your imagination, right? And we're going to dive into kind of what to do when the negative stuff happens, right? The 3D or, the thoughts or the past and stuff like that. We'll dive a little into that too, so don't worry. But we've kind of talked about kind of certain processes that I do and something that you could do as well, right? So for me personally, whenever like I said, I have that desire, and it could be anywhere. I could go to Home Depot, IKEA, Walmart, walking my dog, like I said, going to the kitchen, cooking food, tidying up something in my home, or, shopping somewhere for whatever. It doesn't matter, or whether I'm driving. The moment the desire hits me, I always remember I have the desire because it's already mine. I just have to remember it. It's like a little alarm for my higher self, if you want to look at it like that. So the moment I have the desire, my job is to understand creation is finished. Whatever it is that I want in that moment. So whether it's holding hands with someone, or business going really well, or, somebody healing up and thriving after they told me some bad news, whatever it is, I let my heart and my mind take me to where it is. So if it's a person, it's going to obviously think of the thing I want to do with that person in that moment. It might be taking them on a date and holding hands and, telling them something sweet, or them telling me something sweet. And if that's the case, then in that moment, I plant that seed. And that is done through so many different ways, right? Sometimes I just do it through thoughts. And like I mentioned to a client yesterday on our phone call that we had last night, I explained to her my process, and I told her, just to show you how simple it can be if you let it be, I explained that every time a desire hits me, and let's say this big one that I kind of want to manifest now, that I'm getting ready to kind of really buckle down and be super consistent to the point from like when I wake up to when I go to sleep, and I'm already almost there. I'm just kind of finishing up the last tweaks. But with that being said, when I finally begin just banging out home runs one after the other, and just doing everything great, I understand that the only thing left for me to do is to genuinely trust that what I'm seeing in my imagination is a true reality. It's the only true present moment. And I understand what I see on the inside becomes the outside. So when I understand all these things, and then I understand that creation is finished, and that's why I have that desire, that it's a promise to me from God, and I understand that I couldn't have that desire unless it was already given to me in many probable realities. All these things hit me all at once, and that's why it makes it so easy for me to embody a state, because I understand why it's easy for me to just accept that it's true, because I understand that the moment the thought comes in of the desire, in that moment, I'm aware of what I'm thinking of exactly. So like I said, if it's an SP, then maybe my brain is thinking of holding hands with that person. So if that's the case, then I start feeling the relief of being able to do that. I feel grateful. I feel happy. I'm excited. I feel in love in that moment. And I know that reaction is happening because I changed my beliefs in that moment. So I already know I planted the seed. So moving forward now, right? Now comes the mental diet part regarding the negative. So now that I planted the seeds a few times when I wake up, right? I was walking my dog, I planted the seeds. I went to the kitchen, planted the seeds when I opened my fridge. And then I was cutting vegetables, planted a seed, and, and all whatever examples I gave you. So we did a lot of seed planting already, right? And now we're going through the day, and maybe we start noticing things, right? Lack of text messages, lack of movement. Maybe things got worse, right? Maybe it was a 180, the opposite direction. Whatever it is, insert it here. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's not permanent. It is all temporary. It will never be cemented and solidified as final, unless you decide that is the case. So moving forward, I want you guys to understand, as Neville told one of his students who came up to him worried and concerned as heck that something happened, and he wanted Neville's advice, and Neville simply told him, simply don't accept it. And he reiterated what he said, and Neville once again said, simply don't accept it. And that student wasn't happy with that answer because he thought Neville was just, discarding him. But later on, Neville explained to him, what he meant by that. And in later lectures, he discusses like the purpose of that. Like, if you can understand something happened that you don't like, but you can also understand that you don't have to accept it as final. So if you're broke right now, or like, it doesn't even matter. You could be, whether it's single, whether it's you just got broken up with, whether you got with someone, but let's say there's a third party now, or let me think what other scenarios. You're going to get kicked out of your place in 2 months, or you can't find a job, or your boss is mean, whatever, you name it. So all these negative things, right? When we understand that these things hit us, it's our job to really put on what I call like the lens of God, or look at things through the eyes of the law, right? And this is why I tell my clients, the ones who are very reactive to the negative, I tell them, look, if anyone is serious, like I will not take anyone serious if they tell me that they genuinely are super serious about the law and they're super interested and that they want their desires more than anything. And then when I ask them, what have you read? They either tell me nothing, or they tell me, oh, I've just read this book once or this book once, and that's it. And I'm like, so you've never reread the book, what, like more than once, let alone 10 times. And they're like, no. And I'm like, how does that make sense though? It's like, how can you say that you really want results, but then you're not doing anything in your power to benefit yourself getting those results quicker? And that's why I love reading. I read every single day. Not a day goes by that I'm not studying in some form, right? Because I love the reminders. And because I read every day, I get consistent reminders of the rules of the law, right? There's a framework to this reality that we have to kind of play by the rules, right? And there's things that we don't see that are invisible, like gravity, law of polarity, right? You know, certain things we can't see, but we know are there and we know it's true and we have to live by it. So when the negatives start happening, and you recognize that there's rules that you get to live by and you get to play with, that also applies to negative. So if we understand now that now the negative's coming, the lack of messages, breakup, SP, argument, whatever, it doesn't matter. Your job is to understand. At the end of the day, creation is still finished. And if you're focusing on negative stuff and you're focusing especially on the past and the past versions of whatever happened, what you're doing is exactly what Neville told you not to do in the book, Feeling is the Secret. He told you to not reinfect yourself by thinking unlovingly of the past. Because he explains to you, when you do that, you reinfect yourself. Because why? Why does he use reinfect specifically? Because you've already infected yourself the first time. But now you're reinfecting yourself by remembering the past and then feeling it emotionally, reacting to it, right? Which means you've aligned your beliefs to those negative realities. And since creation is finished and the past and future and everything's all existing, technically, you can recycle negative events. I'm not saying it's going to happen the exact same way, but you can recycle feeling the same way in different ways. So if I know this, and I know that reacting to the lack is going to manifest more lack, and I know that reacting to the person not behaving the way that I would prefer, or them treating me horribly, or the most common thing is focusing on the past, how they treated you, how they mistreated you, and so on. All these things do not benefit you. What does benefit you is that you're going to pretty much put your awareness on what you want and nothing else. If you promise yourself that no matter what you do for the next 30 days, you're only going to react to the things that you wish to happen or to experience, meaning the love or the happiness or the finances, whatever it is you want, the health, you're going to react to those things when you think of them, right? Because your mind is going to jump to the things you crave in those moments. So all you're doing is reacting to that. And that's what I do. So when they pop in my head, I react to them, and I understand for the negative stuff that pops in my head, number one, I can still choose to react to it, right? I can still choose to return to the eyes of God or the eyes of the law of assumption, right? So let's say I notice lack of movement. Let's say it's been 2 days or 3 days and nothing has happened yet, right? The first thing I do is I evaluate. Have I been doing really good mental diet the last 3 days? And, for me personally, like let's say for the yesterday and today, or let's say the last 2 days for me, I definitely can't say I was at 100% or close to it of what I'm capable of regarding making the right choices consistently. But I can say I was at least 60% pretty good, which is all I need pretty much. And the other 40% was just me being mentally lazy. It's more so me just choosing to be aware of something and not really do anything about it. And because I knew I didn't need to. And that's why I spend a few days priming before I start really dedicating myself, because I need to do the little corrections first. And that's my process of how I figure out if this is a genuine desire. So if I still feel like correcting these little things 2-3 days later, I know it's a genuine desire. And this is what I have now, a genuine desire. So moving forward, like for example, today, when I finish recording this video, I'm going to be thinking of my desire probably all day. Not because I want to, it's just the way my brain works. And there's going to be some negatives that come, right? There's going to stuff from the past, or maybe some things in other aspects of life that are going to somehow affect me regarding this goal that are going to pop up, or whatever it may be. It doesn't even matter. I don't care whatever happens, right? Like my goal, like what I do technically, especially when I'm serious about manifesting something where I'm now not in the process where I need to forgive and I need to process things, but I'm just in a good place where I can now manifest, which is where I'm at. And I'm just happy in general. for me, it's like I understand, like if the devil was alive in the way that we know him as in society today, and they were watching, like the devil would literally be looking at me and probably say like, why won't this guy give up? Like, what is this guy made of? And that's what I want all of you guys to make the devil say. Like, I want you to have the devil's trying to trip you up and throw you these doubts and these negative things and these past experiences, and it's trying to make you go back to your old crappy mental diet. But I want you to be so damn good and so damn righteous in your choices and consistent, most of all, because that builds the habit, that the devil looks at you and says, what the hell is this person made of? I can't break them. And that's my goal every time I'm serious about a goal. So after I end this video, I'm going to go straight and relax and do my stuff that I got to do. And I guarantee you my goal is going to pop up in my head a bunch. And it's up to me now to make the right choices. So when I see the negative pop up, I understand, wait a minute, that's part of creation is finished as well. And I understand, I know better than to react to the past. So I understand if I'm focusing on the past, I don't have to react to it. I understand that happened because my beliefs led me there, and therefore I'm at peace now. And now that I've had time to process things and kind of put myself in a good place, I'm not worried about anything anymore. So then I'm at peace with a negative thought. And maybe a fear comes where I didn't get movement, a text or something, but the SP shows that they're pulling back or further away from you. Like in that moment, how do you not know that if you were to choose your reactions from the right state of consciousness, that it wouldn't have done a 180 and 3 hours later, like for me at the beginning of my journey, got the result because you lived in your conviction. You have no idea. So for me, it doesn't matter what happens, whether it's 3D stuff that I notice that makes me triggered. I understand, okay, wait a minute, 3D is just the present. Sorry, it's a reflection of the states I used to be, right? It's not who I am now in this moment. And I know some people and some coaches will say, oh, manifestation is instant. It's always instant because you this and that. And yes, you can fulfill yourself instantly. That part I don't disagree with. It's misleading when you say the physical manifestation is instant, because it's not. Because if I feel loved by my person, or I feel wealthy, and let's say hypothetically say I have $1, but I felt super wealthy all of a sudden, I can only feel that because I'm in the belief system, which means in that moment, I am that person. So if I was, why did it not physically, come to my reality? And there's a reason for that. And Seth talks about it in the books, and that's the time delay, as does Neville too. So yes, there is a 3D time delay. It's actually built in the framework of reality creation for your protection. If you guys care to learn, feel free to read Seth's first 2 books through Jane Roberts, right? They go into massive detail about that. It's just most coaches don't do that. So that's why I tell all you guys, you should be reading, because it's so easy to have someone like me sit here confidently and talk to you and tell you this is how it works. By the end of the day, you don't know anything unless you study on your own time. You don't know if I'm telling the truth or not. But that's why I want everyone to read on their free time, so you can cut out the crap and stick to what's true, right? And with that being said, just understand that with knowledge, you can make the right choices, period. You can always make the right choices. You can always have whatever it is you want, regardless of what's happening. Today, if it seems scary to you, it's not permanent. And if you feel like it's hopeless, trust me, another day will come where you feel normal again. It's not permanent. I understand that whenever desire comes, why it comes, because it's promised to me, because it's something I'm supposed to have, because creation is finished, because I wouldn't have the desire unless God already, in other words, created it for me, because source needs me to experience it, to expand consciousness through my perspective. So I know all these things. And the same thing with the negative. When the negative comes, I understand, yes, it's true. Yes, that's a probable reality. Yes, it doesn't benefit me to focus on the negative because I'm reinfecting myself, just as Neville said in Feeling is a Secret, his book. And all these different things, right? I know all these rules and I remind myself of these things. I understand that it's still my choice to choose, am I going to believe in the scary thing, or am I going to choose to have faith instead? And that's the thing about manifestation, is no one is forcing you to make any choices. It's really up to you. So moving forward, all that's left for you to do is every time you crave your desire, you're supposed to remember why you crave it and who you are, right? I know that I'm an eternal spirit. I know that I'm an entity. I'm a soul that has a human body. It's not the other way around. So I'm looking through the soul's eyes. I'm looking through God's eyes. And I understand when I speak as God. And when I listen as God, the same way that you do. So if that's the case, then I have nothing to fear, because the Almighty walks with me, right? And whenever I go to war, God goes to war with me, because that's who I am, right? And when I say go to war, it just means, I'm making the right mental choices, and I'm going through the 3D, through the flames, without being touched, without being burned. And that's something you can all accomplish and something you can all do, right? So moving forward, That's all I want you to do is every single time a desire hits you, remind yourself who you are, right? You remember, and I'm gonna have to make a video specifically on who we are so you guys can put everything together and have that peace of mind. But I know that I'm an eternal spirit that is a piece of God. I'm a fragmented version of the Almighty, which means I have access to that information and power within me, right? It's who I am. I understand that creation is finished. I understand that everything I want is made for me because I'm supposed to experience it. I understand that the negatives is also a choice and a part of creation is finished as well. So it's equally as valid as the positive things. So therefore, it's like that little a fairy tale goes, you know, of the one who fed the two wolves, of which one do you feed is the one that's going to win the fight. So which wolf do I want to feed? Fear or the faithful one, or the one made of love? Of course, if I want my, you know, my goals, I want to focus on love. I want to focus on, you know, who I am at my core, and that is love. So I look at things through the perspective of the law of assumption. I understand the time delay. I understand what the 3D is, which is not the present moment. It's literally past me. So if I know it's the past me, then I know what I'm doing now and what I'm going to do an hour from now and a day from now and 2 days from now and 4 days from now. That's going to become the past me as well. In other words, it's going to be reflected as an experience because I'm changing my beliefs in those days. So great. Then all I got to do now is move forward. Is every single time I think of my desire, and even if I don't feel like the technique, I just feel grateful for it because I understand I've fulfilled myself so much that day that I can just expect that it's on its way. And that alone is a technique in itself. So I'm literally just planting seeds all the time. And every single time I want something, I simply just give it to myself. And before I go to bed, all I do is the same thing that Neville teaches, right? I do sats, just not in the way that he teaches. I just find a way that doesn't knock me out right away, but I get sleepy really easily. And just before I cross that line, I understand that, okay, let's focus on what I want the most. And I start thinking about it, and then my mind takes me to what I want directly in that moment. And then I just embody what I think it would feel like if I had that. And I fall asleep feeling that. And that's all I do in combination with the mental process throughout the day, right? So I'll probably have to make a part 2 on this video, honestly, because there's so many things I want to add, but it would be too long. I want to talk about the framework, you know, certain rules and laws we live by. I want to talk about certain other things to do with negative beliefs and stuff like that. But in general, I gave you guys kind of a gist, and I'm going to ask you guys a question I need your feedback on moving forward. So get ready to respond in the comments down below. But in general, like, that's what I do. Now you understand that everything is a choice. Everything is existing all at once. And this physical experience is just a result. It's a reflection of who I was being. And if it's not what I want it to be today, then I understand it's going to change in a week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks, who knows? Because nothing stays the same, right? Couples get together all the time just as they break up all the time, right? People make money all the time just as they lose it. The only thing that's guaranteed in life is change. So if you know that and you truly trust that, then there's nothing to fear. If you know that you're going to make the right choices and you're going to spend more time returning to the awareness of being the one with the results and solutions and less time returning to the fear, then you can rest assured that it's pretty much a done deal that you're going to get your results. And that's the part that excites me the most. So for me on my journey, now that I'm buckling down and getting ready to kind of really ramp things up, that's what I'm doing right now. And this is going to help me because probably tomorrow it's already going to be more natural that I'm making the decisions automatically already. So it's only a matter of time before I start, you know, seeing movement, right? So that's why I love this process. And I'm definitely going to make another part to this video most likely in the future. So with that being said, the question I have for you guys is, I pretty much have been thinking what direction I want to take this channel in. And, you know, for me, I had a lot of time to think about that because I told you in a previous video, I was getting back into boxing. And with that being said, I got a little too excited and started overtraining myself. I was training as if I was 20 years old again, but I went a little too crazy considering I was coming back from, you know, so much time off, that because I was overtrained and I didn't let my body recover, my calf muscle, it was like a little pop, right? It's nothing bad. It's just a sprain. But that took me out for like a month and a half. And I had a lot of time to think of for that. And for myself, I'm like, okay, when I go back, I'm just going to just do weights. I'm going to wait like a couple months and then go back into boxing. And that way I don't get a little too excited and crazy hitting the bag and stuff. But with that being said, I had the time, right? And I figured, okay, before I go to the gym again, I'm going to go to make this video out and get it out so I can go to the gym in peace. And what can I do so I don't get stuck here, like not being able to do the thing that I want to do again? What should I do so that I can kind of give back to the community and guide the channel in a way that I want to? In other words, I want to teach you guys more than how I already am. And I want to have a membership pretty much where I can talk with you guys daily, and I do Q&As and things like this all the time. And I have certain ideas I want to do. I've talked about doing book clubs and stuff and study sessions with me where you actually learn the way that I learn. And if those of you that want to become coaches, or that you just want to know more than most people in general, something like that. But I want to make a membership, and I pretty much just need you guys to throw me some ideas of what you would like, because it's not really up to me. I know how I would like to teach, and I know what I'm going to do regarding doing that, but I want to know what ways do you guys want to be taught, right? And also throw in the price points you want as well, the monthly price points, right? What things do you want included for the price point? You can add anything you think it would be beneficial, that you think would be great to have. I just want you guys to throw all your opinions at me. Do you guys want Q&As, right? And if so, how many Q&As do you want, right? And if so, then what is a fair monthly price for you guys, where it's cheaper than working with me privately, and but it's still how do you call it, like a penny, where at least it's beneficial for everyone, in other words. So obviously I don't care, the price doesn't have to be super high. I don't really care about the money. It's more so I want more people just involved, right? And just tell me what you guys think is fair. Give me tier options, some ideas, like I said. And for me personally, book club, Q&A, just like 1 hour chat sessions here and there, and even spontaneous. Like, I'm not going to market this, it'll just be like an added bonus. But to be honest, like, even if I'm doing like a weekly Q&A, there's chances I might do like 2 extra ones that week just because I feel like it. So little things like that I want to do. And if there's anything that sticks out to you guys that you want, anything that you guys kind of would like to see in a membership package so I can teach you guys better, then throw that in the comments and let me know all your feedback. So now that I've had a lot of time to think from being off from the gym a bit, and now that I get to go back finally, I'm excited. And I'm excited to distract myself while fulfilling myself. And I'm excited to kind of get the ball rolling on the membership stuff. I just want to know what you guys want, and I want to know what makes you guys happy. So I already know kind of what to do moving forward, and I'll take your guys's input and I'll kind of put that together and make a whole thing, and then I'll roll it out for you guys, and you guys give me the feedback and we'll figure it out. Okay, so with that being said, I'll quit yapping, right? I'm rambling now just because I'm so used to it by now. But if you are here this far and you've already made it, I just want to know I love every single one of you. And all I ask in return is for a like if you've made it this far and this video has helped you in any form. And I will be making a video very soon, actually. I have like 4 more videos that I'm actually very inspired to make. So that means they're probably going to be out in the next 30 days. So look out for those, and feel free to leave your comments down below. And if you have any questions, by the way, feel free to throw them too. I want to answer some questions. I love helping you guys out on the side as well. So without further ado, I'll let you guys go. Thank you for this yap session. And it was nice little therapy for me. So take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.